Oh, wow. So thank you so much for joining. I'm really happy everyone is here and that we can be together in this brand new world and brand new idea and brand new moment. Um, yeah, it's good to slow down. You can already feel when you slow down. Oh yeah, there's contact. I don't have to say anything. It's just starting. It's just coming. There's a communication starting right away when you shut up in a certain sense, when you just quiet down and not blah blah for a moment. So I'll try to be as less of a disturbance in that as I can possibly be. So I found some really nice pieces that I want to share with you, and um, this could be like the second class of Discover Love, because last time I was very much excited about the idea of Discover Love. Like everything that we do is basically a longing for love or wanting to discover love, whether it is breaking up a relationship or whether it is starting one, or whether it is enjoying what you see or feeling the quiet or whatever. All that moves you really deeply is wanting to discover love, wanting to have a broader experience of what you really are. And so the beautiful thing with that is that Joel talks about it, of course, in his time in a different kind of, and he uses different words. And so what he is basically sharing with us, and I'll read it later on, is this idea that as a human being, you cannot receive spiritual messages. It's just impossible. With a contracted mind full of fear, trying to survive, it will not be open to receive spiritual messages. So meditation is helping, of course, to let go of this human mind, because this mind needs transforming. This mind needs to be changed, just like it is so beautifully said by Paul. Die daily, and we can of course repeat those words, but that's the same as what Joel will say in what I'll read. Is like, no, these words have no magical power. It's not about using these words. It is about hearing these words and exemplifying them in what you do and what you think and what you are. Yeah, let it be an extension of what you are. So I just posted it on the EV website, and that is Attain That Mind First. Attain that mind first, like the expanded one mind. You will have to attain that first by meditating, by allowing something else to occur to you, by letting go of fear, but also to be completely focused and aware of your true purpose here, and that is to experience peace. To have a real desire to experience peace. So from Attain That First Mind, I will read to you. The whole purpose of our writings is exactly the whole purpose of Scripture. There are no magical formulas in Scripture. There are no words or statements in Scripture that perform miracles. The purpose of Scripture is to acquaint us with the truth that will develop for us a new consciousness, a rebirth, enable us to die to our form of beliefs. For instance, when we are told in Scripture, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. We don't expect that scriptural passage to demonstrate supply for us. We don't expect that to go out and bring in money. Now that Take that passage right now in your thought and see what it is you expect of it. What do you expect of that passage? Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. Now, what do I want that statement to do for me? See, and then Joel gives a description. I will read it to you anyway. There's nothing in it that would indicate that it's a miracle worker or that its purpose is to go out and bring in loaves and fishes. What is its purpose? And of course, you will ultimately see that there's a refutation of the material sense that we have entertained about supply. Mainly that we do live by money, we do live by income, we do live by investments, we do live by salaries. That is the human sense of life. And there isn't any one of us that isn't continuously facing that very problem. My need is money, my need is a home, my need is security, my need is some savings. And as long as we are in the human sense of life, that is the very fact that we must all face every day. Just as we must face the fact every day, we don't usually face it until we get up toward 50. But from then on, we face it every day that's getting closer to the 70 years and 10 and what lies ahead. Now, anyone who says that thought never entered their mind, I haven't met yet. It is a thought that enters everyone's mind the minute the gray begins to show. And that is natural to a human being, because a human being, it signals the approach of the end of life. And that is the greatest tragedy there is in the human world. But and then later on he's talking a little bit about the body, and I don't know if I can find it, but that's also a very great piece. Let me see, because it's so, I don't know if I can find it. It might just be gone. Anyway, I'll let this go for now. I can't find it. So I like this, what Joel shows us. You know, it's like, if you use your senses and if you use your human ideas about yourself, then it's all like a tragedy. You will come closer to the day that you will pass, and then it will all be over. Well, that's an incredible, that is one part of the incredible tragedy that seems to be the human life. Losing others, that's of course even worse. You know, you lose the ones that you love. So you always have that in mind as a human being. So you will never be completely open to love, just to protect yourself from it. You know, just to protect yourself from hurt, from being hurt. And that means that you cannot unconditionally love anything or anyone just because of that. And of course, they can change. It can be transformed. You literally can die into it and discover that there's nothing like separation. There's no such thing as separation. And there's nothing that can hurt you that comes from outside of you. You know, so it's, yeah, that's really great that Joel offers this. And the same that he says, the words that he uses, or the words that are written in scripture or in this lesson or in this transcript that we had made, you know, nothing of that can help you. It is not these words that are in the book, or it's not these words that are on the website or whatever. I wrote it down in the introduction too. It's like, no, not of Joel, it were Joel's words, but it's like, no, you cannot get this by listening, like by reading the words and thinking that these words are going to do some some magical trick to you. Like, no, not at all. So there's something very sweet in this if you allow yourself to really receive the words and let yourself be affected by it. Like, these are the words that I use a lot. Like, be completely affected by it, be completely washed away by it, because then there's this opening, then there's this heart opening of you in which you can be so receptive for everything that's occurring that literally the spiritual messages will come and feed you, and also the life energy will start to flow through you and start to move, literally move your body, and also move the memories that you have inside your body. So your cells are going to be rejuvenated and transformed, and every old idea will be transformed into light, into something that is very useful, into something that will just shine out of you wherever you go. And the same thing, of course, is then that if you allow yourself to let go of old ideas and completely open to love, then you also will be able to allow this healing to occur to you. There was something else I wanted to say, but I just lost that too. So my mind is really starting to let go of everything. So that's great. So yeah, the search for love, the receptance of love, the opening up for love, the discovery of love is what you are doing. I wanted to start reading a little bit from The Way of Mastery again, and The Way of Knowing is the book. And just because that is so to the point when it comes to this piece that I just read from Joel, but it will speak of it in a totally different way. So then you have like two ways that are really complementary, like they fill each other, and make it even more clear where you find yourself, or what actually is occurring with you. Excuse me. So this is chapter 8 from this book, The Way of Knowing. Chapter 8 of lesson 8 it are just lessons. And I will read you a couple of paragraphs and start with the words, okay, now we begin. And indeed, once again, greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. We would come forth to abide with you this day to speak yet again of the simple subject, to speak yet again of the essence of all that you seek, to speak yet again of the essence of all that you are, to speak yet again with great devotion, with unceasing praise, as we share with you, as we share with one another, that which alone can set God's child free, that which alone enlightens the mind and purifies the heart, and bring about the serenity of the soul. The serenity of the soul. So, and this is a little in between word. It's like, yeah, okay, so try to be as receptive to this as you possibly can. So there's so much given in the text that I read. So open up and go really to the edges of your possibilities of receiving what I'm sharing with you. What then could such a subject be? What theme could all of these words point to? Indeed, beloved friend, what does the morning sunrise point to? What does the sound of a child's laughter point to? Indeed, beloved friends, what does the very breath you breathe point to? What do all things of creation point to? For I have said unto you before that there's nothing you can create, that there is nothing you can create that does not express your longing to awaken. Therefore, all doing of the body-mind is but the attempt of the soul to break free of all limitation and to once again rest, recline in that perfect peace, which is the certain knowledge that only love is real. So I'll repeat that last sentence because it's so full of everything. Therefore, all doing of the body-mind is but the attempt of the soul to break free of all limitation and to once again rest, recline in that perfect peace, which is the certain knowledge that only love is real. The yogi in his cave but expresses the longing of that one soul to recline in God. The lovers entwined express only the longing of the soul to taste, to touch the reality of love. And love is but God, for God is but love. All things then reflect to you, through the sensory apparatus, the longing of all creation to know, with perfect certainty, the living presence of that one whom I have called Abba. And I skip a paragraph and then just a little description of your reality. So love, beloved friends, is the essence of all that you are. Love is the essence of all that dances as a temporary reflection before the eyes of your very body-mind. There is nothing you can look upon whose essence is not love. There is nothing you can experience whose essence is not love. The only question then is, are you willing to make the journey from fear to love? As you look upon anything, as you experience any emotion, for there can be nothing that obstructs from you the light and presence of your Creator. And to perceive the real world of love is to know, with perfect certainty, that you and your Father are one. Wow. So everything is like the longing to know love, to know with perfect certainty, to know love with perfect certainty. And so these are just, I just love to read this because you can feel what's being said, like it resonates with your heart, with like, oh yeah, of course, this is the way to look at this. You know, this is the way to relax and recline in this knowing of the love that you are, and the extension that you are of that love, and everything that you see reflected is nothing but showing you that love if you look with your heart instead of your sensory apparatus. So yeah, it's literally like Joel says in the title, Attaining That Mind. It's literally like attaining that heart mind. You start to look with your essence, with your being, to everything that's occurring in your spiritual awakening. So that opens up more and more and more and more until it is complete. You know, it's like there's always more in that. You can grow in it. You can expand in it. You can become so aware of what is actually going on, and then it's in your daily life. It's easier to make choices too, because of you knowing. You know that you are exactly choosing the experiences that you want. And if you don't like them, you might really want to look at what actually am I wishing for? What actually am I, what do I want? What am I actually looking for? So it is a journey from fear to love. And the ones that are using the Course in Miracles, this is a very familiar way of saying that. It's like, yeah, the obstacles to the awareness of love's presence. And the same it says in this book, in the way of knowing. It is like, okay, so take a look at what you, and this is a very practical exercise, take a look at actually what has been occurring in your life. Where have you held back instead of giving fully? Where have you said no instead of yes, I'm willing? Or where did you react out of fear instead of coming from your heart? And it's good to look at that and just write it down or do whatever you want with it. But just to become completely aware that you have a choice how to respond. Like this morning, I went to the gas station to fill up my gas tank of the car, and then I was looking for the number of the pump where I had to pay for. And then somebody with an incredible smile, an incredible light, so to speak, came up to me and said, yes, it's pump 3, but in such a way that I was completely like overwhelmed with it. And before I could say anything, the person was already gone again. But it's like, oh yeah, like in every moment this is coming back. I can, if I'm aware of that would be so much fun, because then you see this oneness reflected everywhere, and you can feel it no matter where you are, just because you are open to receive that. And yeah, you don't want to miss that. You definitely don't want to miss that. It's so limited to come from fear and to be this contracted whoever, instead of giving as much as you can, no matter what. The same as in Holland, you have this, when there's a little festival or something, people not naturally go dancing immediately or something. You know, they're a bit shy, like, well, let the others do it, and look serious and listen seriously to the music and maybe move a little bit, but not so much. But then you see children coming up and they just can't hold themselves and start moving around and doing crazy things and rolling over the floor, and the parents are watching around like, oh, is this possible that my child is doing this? You know, all these little sceneries are taking place. But then if you start doing this yourself, then not that you have to dance like a crazy person all the time, but it can be very much fun to stand up and just start and see like, oh yeah, there is nothing outside myself. I can completely extend the love that I am. And I love to dance, yes. So let's get started. So these are just very simple things, but it's like, yes, you demonstrate the freedom of your mind. You demonstrate who you really are. You are one bouncing star all through the universe. You know, it's like you have all opportunities to give in every situation that you meet someone or be with others, so to speak, others. So yeah, the love that you are, and recognizing the love that you are, and being focused on your love experience, on discovering love in every situation. There's always love to discover. Wow. So you have to be a little adventurous, otherwise it's not going to work. So you want to look at the edges of what is possible and what is allowed and whatever, to discover, yes, I got all the space to be myself. I'm not limited by anything and by anyone. I literally don't need to do anything. I can just be myself. And that's such a great discovery. That's always so much of my enjoyment to feel that. So yeah, and if you have to be quiet for that to become more and more aware of that, that's great. How much enjoyment is that to just sit still and let the world collapse for a moment and let everything fall apart and leave everything behind and drop your big backpack full of insane beliefs. What's wrong about that? It's great. So it's filling up by itself when you sit still. It's like this is alive. This is a moment where you become alive in the meditation or the quiet time that you choose to have. So how do you do this? How can you attain this mind? I'm very curious what Joe is going to say in the next couple of episodes that we're going to post, because it is literally like attaining that whole mind where it's all about. You don't want to miss anything. You want to be the whole picture. You want to see the whole picture, not the limited, contracted ideas. You want to see the whole picture and let everything be revealed to you that you couldn't see before. And having deeper and deeper experience of the love that you are every day. Every day there's an opportunity to go deeper into that. So yeah, the purification of the heart, where what I read about that too, it was probably in Joel's piece, but it's like the purification of heart literally is also to really look at where am I being contracted? Where do I stop? Where I actually should say yes, or where I should actually help or support or love instead of fear. So you will have to take a look at that, and not that you have to judge yourself for it. No, it's more like, no, you don't want to suppress anything, or you don't want to get into the habit of not doing that because of your old idea about yourself, about something that you did in the past and are used to. That cannot be your defense anymore. The things that you're not used to, you can skip those, and you're going to discover. You can discover what it means to do it instead of not doing it. So one of the things that came to me today too was this idea that to be in perfect peace is basically to allow yourself to feel everything and to think everything too, not to suppress any idea or any feeling or emotion, but just let them be there. So no matter what it is that you experience, go deep in it and experience that totally. That is a possibility to experience peace in the end. So then it can change, and then it is allowed to be there. It is like embracing it. Embracing it is basically just feeling it, not being afraid to feel what you feel, not being afraid to go deep into that feeling. So, for instance, take one thing that you came up to today and bring that back into your memory and feel that right now. Just feel that. Take a moment to really feel that, what you didn't want to feel, or where you just had like, oh, that's very uncomfortable, I don't want to do that. Like, just bring it back for a moment. And we can just go in there as our little healing experience of today. So the embracing of it is the feeling of it, daring to feel it, not being afraid to feel it. See, that isn't so bad. It's not so bad to do it like that. So now we share this with each other. You know, you're in the safe zone. Literally, you're safe. You're always in the safe zone, but you can feel very unsafe. But when you go inside and when you join, when you start to communicate with the universe, that will go easily. You will allow you feel yourself in your real comfort zone, so to speak. And then these things can easily come up, and you don't have to suppress anything, but you can relive them and just let them be healed and purified, so that your heart will be even more available to receive love and to give love. Because all these things that you don't dare to do, or that are where you feel uncomfortable with, are basically all like miracles about to happen. They will open a door for you to be more yourself and to go deeper into the experience of the love that you are. So incredible opportunities are laying right in front of you, and you can pick them up anytime. So to come back to reach you some words of comfort or real support, I will repeat this little piece that I was reading already, but it's so beautiful. So here's my little gift again. Love, beloved friends, is the essence of all that you are. Love is the essence of all that dances as a temporary reflection before the eyes of your very body-mind. See, this is, Jesus says here, like love is the essence of all that dances as a temporary reflection before the eyes of your very body-mind. So that's like, you don't want to miss that. You want to see that. So the purification and transformation might be tough or might be hard, but it's worth going through it because of this. Like, you want to experience everything in a completely different way. You want to see everything as the temporary reflection of the love that you are. There is nothing you can look upon whose essence is not love. There is nothing you can experience. I think here, there is no one you can look upon whose essence is not love. And there is nothing you can experience whose essence is not love. The only question then is, are you willing to make the journey from fear to love? As you look upon anything, as you experience any emotion, for there can be nothing that obstructs you from the light and presence of your Creator. And to perceive the real world of love is to know with perfect certainty that you and your Father are one. So with that, I would like to say thank you so much for being part of this, and thank you so much for joining.